In this hand, I have approximately 24,000 books. And in this hand, I have one. When e-readers first came out, there was a large-scale panic that the e-reader was going to kill the print book industry. So why then are book sales actually up? Let's dive into the surprising history of ebooks and e-readers to see just how this medium revolutionized the industry and how what was supposed to be a murder ended up being a beautiful partnership. The first ebook is usually attested as the first document to ever be available digitally. This happened in 1971 when Michael Hart created and shared a digitized copy of the Declaration of Independence on a computer network at the University of Illinois. This was the beginning of Project Gutenberg, and its mandate was and still is to provide easy access to free ebooks, today offering more than 70,000 in 60 languages and dialects. The concept of ebooks, however, dates back much further, to the end of the Second World War. At this time, librarians and library patrons alike were finding it difficult to navigate the massive information that was suddenly available. Vannevar Bush, the head of the U.S. Office of Scientific Research and Development during World War II, proposed the creation of a personal device which he dubbed Memex, which would store masses of information and therefore make researchers' lives easier. Memex, however, would remain nothing but a dream, and it would take another 30 years until real-life ebook devices hit the scene. The ebook technology we know today is the culmination of many innovations from the late 80s, such as Superbook technology. Developed by Bell Communication in 1987, it revolutionized ebooks by making them formatted and searchable. In 1989, IBM Book Manager software allowed ebooks to be viewed on different types of platforms. By the late 90s, e-reader technology was advancing and Rocket eBook Reader hit the market. Similar to e-readers today, this was a backlit device that allowed users to download books from online sellers like Barnes & Noble. At about the size of a paperback, it was also able to hold a 17-hour charge. The downfall of the Rocket was that it had minimal capacity, only being able to store about 10 books worth of data. And despite its small size, it caused wrist fatigue over time because it was so heavy. In a few studies comparing the Rocket to paperbacks, needless to say, reviews were mixed. Michael Tamblyn, CEO of Rakuten Kobo, has seen firsthand the evolution of the e-reader industry.
Why don't we start with, give us the origin story.
There was a time in about 2007, 2008, when the book industry saw that they were going to have their trip through the digital transformation machine. They'd seen it happen for music, and that had remade the music retail landscape. They saw it happening with video, changing the way that studios, actors, and movies and television series were being made. And it looked like books were going to have their time.
During that time, Michael was at Indigo and was part of the team that helped launch Short Covers, the retailer's answer to the digital revolution.
And so for us, we were really a basement skunkworks project in the basement of Indigo because they made kind of the brave decision to say, either someone's going to disrupt us or we're going to disrupt ourselves. So they empowered this relatively small group of people to figure out how would we do ebooks for a retail chain. That was the beginning of what became Kobo. And at the time, there was this sense that if ebooks become 50, 60, 70% of all reading, then that's going to completely change the retail landscape. And what we found instead is that it's been a much more gentle evolution. We have much more of an equilibrium between print and digital than we've had with any of those other media categories where it was just like a swing in one direction and a lot of wreckage along the way.
When the mid-2000s boom of e-readers happened, it was predicted that the death of independent bookstores and even hard copy books themselves was imminent. The first Kindle, released in 2007, which retailed for $400, sold out in 5.5 hours. So this set expectations for these digital devices pretty high. These predictions also imagined younger generations opting for e-readers over print books, with older generations sticking with print. By 2023, it seemed that the opposite of all that was true. At least in English-speaking markets, print book sales were up 10 to 14% over 3 years, and younger readers prefer print books, with older generations being more frequent users of e-readers. Despite the now decades-long history of ebooks and e-readers, why is it that physical books still have their place?
There are certain pockets of the reading market that really are great in paper. People love giving books to children. You love having that beautiful design book or that beautiful cookbook around you. So there are segments and pockets of book categories that just have been really durable in paper. And then other segments that have gone really rapidly to digital, romance, science fiction, fantasy, crime, mysteries, like all of those things that you read for yourself have gone really quickly to digital. What it has changed is, I think, the balance of power between publishers and authors. So the thing that was created when ebooks came up that didn't exist before was an author could say, I'm not going to go through a publisher. I'm going to go directly through these digital platforms who now have access to millions of readers. And through that, I'm going to find my audience directly. So if you look at the books that we sell in English language markets, like 1 in 4 now comes from an author who's working with us directly that hasn't gone through a publisher and is now kind of interfacing with their fans and readers using us as a conduit. I think if we fast forward 20 years from now and say, where did the disruption happen in books? They're going to say, oh, that was the time when there was this unlocking of how an author got to market.
We talked with Annabelle Chase, writer of paranormal and urban fantasy novels, who found her success as an author through self-publishing ebooks.
I tried the traditional publishing route, but it just didn't pan out for me, so I just decided to take it into my own hands. I guess in 2011, when Kindle Direct Publishing became a thing, I saw an opportunity and went with it. And I remember feeling excited just to be able to put something out there and see if anybody read it. And, my early books were not, they had readers, but, it took some time, and that's okay.
Much like how social media has brought formerly untouchable celebrities and public figures up close and personal with their fans, self-publishing has also allowed authors to more closely connect with their audiences.
I have found self-publishing allows me to connect with my audience. And I have a Facebook reader group, and I have a Facebook page where I interact with readers. My newsletter, they email me back when they get my newsletter. I get emails, I get DMs. I feel like I have a closer relationship with them.
But early on in the self-publishing route, there was a lot left to aspiring writers to figure out.
What was challenging at that time was that we call it the Wild West because there were no resources. There was nobody to help you. We had K-boards at the time, which was a place that you could go and ask questions and things like that. And so I did learn a lot from K-boards early on.
Along with e-readers, self-publishing platforms have also come a long way. You can upload and publish your own novel on places like Kobo's Writing Life or Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing and have your work for sale in 72 hours. Woo, that's fast. But the e-reader hasn't quite finished its evolution yet. The next iterations are wearable devices like the Soul Reader headset that's designed to let the reader enjoy their books and documents hands-free while laying down. A controller in the hand ensures your arms will never tire from holding a book or e-reader up. Much like a simple e-reader, this device is grayscale and has slow refresh rates, perfect for reading and not much else. Or maybe the next evolution will take inspiration from students at MIT, who years ago launched a project they've dubbed sensory fiction. Through a network of sensors, this wearable vest allows the reader to experience what the protagonist is feeling, page by page, be it a quickening of a heart rate through vibrations or a tightening of the chest created with air pressure bags. This one is definitely giving me Feelies vibes from Brave New World. As for Michael, he says the book industry's next big evolution will of course be how it works with AI-generated books.
There is this process where authors, publishers, retailers all have to figure out how this fits into their lives. It's trickier if you're a publisher. I think it's interesting if you're an author, where you're always, authors I find are infinitely creative in how can this help me tell the stories that I want to tell. There are going to be lawsuits. There's going to be all kinds of gnashing of teeth. And there are going to be creators who grab a hold of this and do something really interesting with it. And there are going to be people who say, absolutely not, this is the worst thing ever. And I think we're going to be in the middle of it going, okay, how can we create something that readers are going to find enjoyable?
I love that attitude. It's you're more focused on quality and the reader experience than the bottom line of did AI get in here or not? And
it's already in there. We already know that we're getting material in that's been AI assisted. We're getting some really bad stuff that's been fully AI written, and we're gonna have to figure that out as we go. One of the things that that I'm happy about for us is that our role is really to put a reader together with something great to read. So wherever that comes from or however that's created, that primary function is, can I put you together with the next book you're going to be excited about?
Actor and author Stephen Fry says, books are no more threatened by Kindle than stairs are by elevators. And that might just epitomize why ebooks will never completely replace good old-fashioned books. So which do you prefer? The warm glow of your e-reader screen or the scent of freshly printed pages? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new videos every other week. Bye.